Hello and welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be discussing the difference between be and be, presented to you by Learn English with Me or Want to Speak English with Me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be versus be. Be, to take place or happen, or it can mean having a position or a place. So, let's look at some examples. Will there be any lions at the zoo? My new desk will be in the corner. Let's look at the definitions of these bees. Will there be any lions at the zoo? This is the bee. It is talking about the lions and where they will be, or their position. The zoo. So it is 1E because it is where the lions are, the place of the lions, the position of the lions. My new desk will be in the corner. This is the bee. It's talking about the desk, and this is the position of the desk. So because it's talking about the position of the desk, it is a position bee. It's the same as the first one, having a position or a place. Or the other type of bee, the one with 2 E's, and which is an insect with 4 legs and a stinger. That bee is flying around in the garden. We've all heard of them, they sting you. Yeah, moving on. It can also mean a social gathering at which people have a task or a contest, like a competition, a spelling bee, a knitting contest. Those are just the usual. Let's look at another example. Let's look at some examples. That bee is flying in the garden. This is the bee, and it's talking about itself. It's not talking about anything else. The bee is a subject in this sentence, meaning it must be a noun, just like this definition. The students have lined up for a spelling bee. This is the bee. It is talking about a spelling bee, which is a contest where students line up and try to spell. It's called a spelling bee. It's a contest, a task or a contest. Meaning it is this definition, which is a task or a contest, a social gathering at which people have a task or a contest. This spelling bee is a contest, which means it must be this one. Moving on. Which is right? I was just stung by a bee. Which bee? Which one would make sense? Think about the context and about the sentence. I'm not sure when the new store will be in the mall. Think about this one. It's talking about the mall. So which one would it be? Will the new teacher be in class about today? Think of the clues hidden in the text about where the teacher will be, and think of your answer. My grandma goes to a sewing bee every Monday. So what bee would make sense in there? Because they are having a gathering. Let's look at the answers. I'm just going to give you a bit of thinking time. Pause the video if you need any more. Let's look at some answers. I was just stung by a bee. The bee is the insect because it is not talking about anything, and it just stung the human, meaning it is a partial subject, meaning it must be a noun, aka the bee. I'm not sure where the new store will be in the mall. this is one E because it's talking about the position of the store in the mall. So it must be one E because it's talking about the position. That is one of the definitions of the B with the one E, as we described before. Will the new teacher be in class today? It is one E because it's talking about where the teacher will be. At school, in a car, where is the teacher? So it's one E. As we stated earlier, the B with one E is taking up a position or a place. My grandma goes to a sewing bee every Monday. It is a competition and a social gathering. That's why she goes to it. And it's a competition. So, one of our definitions for bee was a social gathering where people have a task or a contest. So if lots of people go there, it's a social gathering, making it 2 E's. The long E sound. The long E sound is important in the word B and B because it is what makes them sound like B and not B. Because as we all know, the E's normal sound is like an eh sound. The long E sound is sometimes made by the single E letter pattern, just like we discussed before. Sometimes instead of a single E making the eh sound, it can make the E sound. Let's look at some examples. Be, he, me, we, she, the. The can also be pronounced as the, so it still counts in this meaning. The long E sound can also be made of the double E pattern. So instead of just a single E, it can also be a double E. It's more common because 2 E's. It's more common for the double E to make the E sound and not the eh sound, unless the E is a silent E or a split digraph. Let's look at some examples. Be, fi, ni, li, si, we. These are just some examples of the long E sound, the E sound being made with 2 E's. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.